Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Cody Brockway, and you're back with another episode of CB's Fun with Vinyl. This is going to be a two-part video. In the first part, we're going to talk about 90s albums that I own and love. And for the second part of the video, we're going to talk about 2000s albums. So 2000s, 2010s, and the 20s so far. Everything from 2000 to 2022. But that's in the next video. This is now. So we're going to start off by talking about Aerosmith's Get a Grip album. I love this album. This album had a lot of big hits on it. Living on the Edge, Crying, Crazy, Amazing, Eat the Rich. This album is huge, but just the whole album is just a really satisfying listen. It's a good rock record. Came out in 1994. And yeah, I love Aerosmith. And I could have easily also picked Nine Lives as well, which is also a great 90s record by Aerosmith, but we're going with this one right now, and it's going to be Get a Grip. The next one will be Alice in Chains, Facelift. I love this band, love this album. This album is such a kick in the face. As soon as you put it on the turntable, put the needle down on the record, you get We Die Young right out of the box. And speaking of box, the next track is Man in the Box. Everybody knows that song. This album, they just had a string of great records. The Facelift, Dirt, Self-Titled, MTV Unplugged. Unfortunately, I don't have most of them on vinyl, but I do have Facelift, thank God. So Facelift is my choice for today. A great record. The next one is Black Sabbath, Dehumanizer. So this is the last one that they did with Ronnie James Dio. So he left the band, obviously went and formed Dio for a long time in the early to mid 80s. And then he reformed. They reformed back together with Dio, Vinny Appice, Tony Iommi, and Geezer Butler. The Mob Rules lineup of the band came back and did this album, and this is one of the heaviest albums they ever put out. I'm not even kidding you. If you haven't heard this, go check it out. Check out a song called I. That will blow your head off. And the whole album, well, it's just a great record. It's awesome. Next up, we're skipping to D for Dream Theater, Images and Words. This is a great record. This is the first album that they did with James LaBrie on vocals, fellow Canadian boy. And I love this album. This is the colored music on vinyl edition. This has got Pull Me Under, which is like probably their most famous song, at least to non-Dream Theater heads. Is Pull Me Under and Metropolis Part 1. And Learning to Live. Oh man, this album is so good. I'm going to show you what the vinyl looks like. It's pretty cool looking. Check this out. Bang. Pretty sweet. So all of their records got repressed on colored vinyl, and it's hard to find all of them now. So I'm very happy I have this one. Now I can tell you that you will see Dream Theater reappear in the 2000s video part of this. So the second part, you'll see another Dream Theater record in there, I'm going to tell you. And it's not Train of Thought. Unfortunately, I don't have that on vinyl. I do have it on CD, but anyway. The next one, okay, so I'm very eclectic with my music taste. So I'll go from death metal to punk to hip-hop to country. Speaking of hip-hop, next up is Dr. Dre's Chronic 2001. Everybody knows this album. If you're a hip-hop fan, you probably have this album. This came out in 99. This is around the time that Eminem got big. With the aid of Dr. Dre, of course. And Eminem's on this album a bunch of times. What's the Difference? And Forgot About Dre are the two tracks that he's on. Those are big tunes. And this is a really good album. Such a vibe, you know. I love this one. Chronic 2001, Dr. Dre. And speaking of Eminem, here's his first major label debut. This is the 20th anniversary of the Slim Shady LP, the expanded edition. And inside this, I actually have tucked in the My Name Is 45 from the Record Store Day a few years back. This is really good. This is a nice release because it's also got songs that he had written at the time that never got released. So obviously you have the classic album. If you love hip hop, you know all about this, so I don't need to say too much about that. But There's this track on here that got released. It's called Get You Mad. It's pretty sweet, and it's part of the bonus tracks. There's a whole record. There's a third LP full of bonus tracks. Pretty cool. Next up we got Foo Fighters, The Color and the Shape. Now this is their second album. This came out in '97. This is when Dave Grohl was pretty much still playing everything. I think maybe Pat Smear and William Goldsmith may have been on this record too, but for the most part this was kind of still Dave just doing everything. This is before Nate and Taylor joined, R.I.P. Taylor Hawkins, one of my faves. But yeah, this album's got a lot of classics on it. You know, Monkey Wrench, Hey Johnny Park, My Hero, Enough Space, I love that track, Everlong, Walking After You. This album is a huge record and still gets shitload of radio play today, but it's just a great straight up rock and roll. Not just straight up rock and roll. There's a lot of different varieties and styles of music that he's accomplishing on this record, but it's a really well-rounded album and a great listen. Foo Fighters, Color and the Shape. Next up, we have my favorite band. My number one favorite band of all time is Genesis. No, this is not their best album, but it's still really great. I love it. I like every song. We Can't Dance. This is kind of a band at this point in their career. They had come through the 70s and 80s, and they were just, CD was a big thing at the time. CD had just come out, and they were going back to doing super long tracks. Like, I know Invisible Touch and the Mama album had Home by the Sea and Domino, but this had multiple long tracks. This had Driving the Last Spike and super proggy stuff like Fading Lights and that sort of thing. I really like this album. No Son of Mine is one of my favorite tunes. Dreaming While You Sleep, Living Forever. I even don't mind Hold on My Heart. Yeah, I love this album. Got to see them last year. I freak out for this band. I freak out for a lot of bands, but this is just my favorite band. I love them. Okay, and then so that brings us to another G band. This is Green Day. This is the Nimrod record. This is a really good one. I don't have Dookie or Insomniac on vinyl, but if I don't have those ones, then this is a great one to have. It's got a lot of great tunes on it. I love Hitchin' a Ride. Redundant's a great song. It's a really underrated song, actually. All the Time, and of course, everybody knows Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. But yes, this is a good album. And you will see Green Day reappear in the 2000s video as well. Just saying. Okay, now we're gonna go back to straight up heavy. Judas Priest, Painkiller. This came out in 1991. Sorry, it came out in 1990. And, well, what can I freaking say about this that hasn't been said already? This is Painkiller, man. This is one of the heaviest, possibly the heaviest record that Judas Priest ever released. Hey, that kind of rhymes. But the songs on this, Painkiller, All Guns Blazing, and A Touch of Evil. Oh my God, A Touch of Evil, one of my freaking favorite songs. This is just a blast of great metal. The whole record is just very consistent. It's awesome all the way through. Painkiller. Awesome. I love the Priest, and they're still out there touring and making good music to this day. I have another pile of more 90s records that I'm going to go grab, so I'm going to cut this and we'll be right back. All right, we're back with another pile from K onwards. The last pile we did ended at J, and so we're starting from K, which brings us to Korn's first album. Yeah, what a nitty-gritty record this is, just killing it. Like, they just changed the game with this one. The 808s and just this emotional, raw, angry, heavy sound with the 7-string guitars and just the emotive songs and the angst and the lyrics. And obviously, if you've heard this album, you've heard a song called Daddy. I'm not even going to get into that. It's just a heavy, emotional song, and they really this album is like therapy. but it's just a timeless classic metal album. 1994, so you got songs like Blind, Clown, Divine, Faggot, Chutes and Ladders. Just a great record all the way through. If you love metal, you've probably already heard this already. It's a great one. And next up we got, all right, so we got Mr. Big's Lean Into It. Now this record is highly underrated, and I cannot urge you enough. If you love hard rock and heavy metal, please do yourself the favor of checking this album out. Everybody on the planet knows the one song. It's called To Be With You. I'm the one who wants to be with you. But there's so many other great songs in this record. Like, if you bought the CD hoping for more songs like that one, there is another ballad on here, which the whole record is just consistently awesome all the way through. But the first track, Daddy, Brother, Lover, Little Boy, the Electric Drill song, it's a crazy one. Alive and Kickin', Green Tinted 60s Mind, Never Say Never, Just Take My Heart, A Little Too Loose, To Be With You. This whole album is just awesome. And this is an original 90s copy on vinyl. This is from 1991. Yes. It's a great record. If you love hard rock and heavy metal, you need to hear this. If you haven't heard it already. Cannot stress that enough. This is the band. Paul Gilbert on guitar, Billy Sheehan on bass, Eric Martin on the vocals, and Pat Torpey on the drums, who actually just passed away a couple years ago. R.I.P. Pat Torpey. That was a great band, and they had other great records too, but that is my personal favorite one. They had other good ones like the first one and Bump Ahead, but that one, Lean Into It, is my favorite one. So, on to Motorhead. This one came out in 98. This is called Snake Bite Love. I'm not as familiar with this one as I am to their older stuff, but this is still a great record nonetheless. Yeah, it's got Lemmy on it, of course, right? Is this colored? This might be colored. No, this is not one of the colored ones. Okay. But yeah, Snake Bite Love. It's got good stuff on it. Love for Sale, Dogs of War, not the Pink Floyd song. Don't Lie to Me, Better Off Dead. Yeah, it's a good one. It's good. Next up we got... Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Do I even need to say what this is? I'll just say this is Metallica's Black Album. My God, what a record this is. This album just totally put metal in a place in 1991. This album did a lot to help the popularity of metal. Songs like Enter Sandman, Sad But True, Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam. And lately I've been listening to a song called The God That Failed. I've been listening to that just religiously lately. I love this album. They brought on Bob Rock to produce the record with James and Lars. And they came out with a record that sounded nothing like what they had done before. Purposefully, though, this band never was afraid to change their styles and, you know, and change their sound. And it was always rock and metal, but they always were never afraid to take a leap and just do something different than the last record. And that's probably why they've, you know, been around for so long, because their music is quite diverse and it's all very good. There's only probably one Metallica record I'm not a fan of for the most part, and I can guarantee that most of you know what that is if you like Metallica. But yeah, this is such a timeless album. Everybody and their brother owns this record, so most of you already know, but this had to be in this list. This is not only one of the best records of the 90s, but one of the best records of all time. I don't care what anyone says. It's true. Metallica, Black Album, 1991. And so to keep it thrash metal, we're going to pick out one of my other favorite records of all time, which is from 1990, and this one is called Rust in Peace by Megadeth. Now, this is my favorite Megadeth album. I love a whole bunch of other Megadeth albums like Peace Sells and So Far So Good So What and Euthanasia, Countdown to Extinction, and also like they got a new song out and it's pretty damn sweet coming off their new album. But anyway, that's beside the point. This is my favorite Megadeth album. This album just blew open a whole bunch of doors for me. I'm a drummer, as many of you might know. So Nick Menza's playing on this record is just crazy. Holy Wars, The Punishment Due, Hangar 18, Take No Prisoners, Five Magics. That's the first side of this record, okay? Holy Wars, Punishment Due, Hangar 18, Take No Prisoners, Five Magics. I had to repeat it. That's such an epic side of music, okay? Like, I lose my... Oh, this is so good. It's crazy heavy, and it's just awesome. Side 2 is Poison Was the Cure, Lucretia, Tornado of Souls, Dawn Patrol, Rest in Peace, Polaris. This is such an amazing collection of metal tunes. Dave Mustaine and the boys really knocked it out of the park on this one. I just love this record so much. Recently fell out of print. It needs to come back because it's just so good. Ooh, so good. Anyway, next album we got is, we're going back into the hip-hop area here with Notorious B.I.G., Ready to Die. This is the Vinyl Me Please colored edition, which is now defunct, out of print. This is one of the formative hip-hop records. This came out in 1994. Hip-hop had already been established before this, but this is one of the records that really sort of solidified it and kept it probably in the mainstream, but meaningful, and just a really great record. The beats, the songs, the lyrics, Biggie's a great storyteller. And of course there's a lot of darkness to some of these songs, but there's also a lot of lightness too. There's a lot of, talk about how good his life had become with songs like Juicy and Big Papa. And this album is just a really good one, really respectable hip-hop record. I love it. I gotta show you what the vinyl looks like. It's really cool. This is a classic hip-hop record. It's just a vibe. Look at that. Pretty sweet, eh? Yeah. So that's Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G., Ready to Die from 94. Put that back together shortly. Next one. You cannot talk about 90s music without bringing up this album. This is Nirvana's Nevermind. This album is such a monumental LP. This kind of set the tone for rock and roll in the 90s, this record, as many of you might know, but this is the first time we had ever heard of a guy named Dave Grohl, who would go on to be one of my favorite musicians, one of my biggest inspirations too. But Kurt Cobain, Chris Novoselic, and Dave, of course, the three of them, this album just knocks it out of the park. Every song is just a good... It's great songwriting. It really is. It Smells Like Teen Spirit, In Bloom, Come As You Are, Breed, Lithium, Polly. That's the first side of the record. Then the second side opens up with actually one of my favorite tunes, is Territorial Pissings. If you can put on some headphones, put on that song, and sit behind a drum kit and just bang away. It's just so much fun playing along to this album. But that song is, yeah. Drain You, Lounge Act, Stay Away, On a Plane, and Something in the Way. There's literally not a bad second of music on this. It's just a great record. They just recently put out the 30th anniversary box set edition of this, so I'm going to have to get that because I love Nirvana and I love this album. In Utero is also a good record too, but that's the one that takes the cake. Ozzy, No More Tears. This is another one from 91. Look at all these records that came out in 91. Just an awesome time for music, really. Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tears. This is one of his best records. It kind of goes, Blizzard of Oz, Diary of a Madman, maybe No Rest for the Wicked, and then this one. Like, this is easily in his top 5 best albums of his whole career as a soloist. This has some of the best guitar playing from Zakk Wylde that I've ever heard on record, and I'm not bullshitting you. The guitar solo in No More Tears is one of the best metal guitar solos I've ever heard. Just that build up and that climax, and oh, if you haven't heard it, go check it out. This album's so great. Mr. Tinker Train, Mama, I'm Coming Home. Oh, we're getting the chills. Hellraiser, which he wrote with, he wrote Hellraiser and Mama, I'm Coming Home with Lemmy of Motorhead. And Motorhead actually does a version of Hellraiser that is also as good. So check out both of those. Actually, just Zombie Stomp, Road to Nowhere, Sin. Yeah, this whole album is just so great. Just check the whole thing out. Damn it. It's a good one. This is the reissue that came out a year or two ago, because after that it was, like, prior to that it was freaking nearly impossible to find on vinyl. But glad I have it now. It's a good one. Next up we got Pink Floyd, The Division Bell. This is, you know, some fans love it, some fans don't. I'm in the love it category. I think this record's great. David Gilmour and Richard Wright and Nick Mason, love those guys. And Roger Waters, of course, too, although he's nowhere near this record. I'm going to see him tomorrow night, actually, in concert, but I digress. This is the Division Bell. This is the 25th anniversary edition of it, which means that it was that limited pressing that came out on blue vinyl. So many great tunes on this. What Do You Want From Me? Great Day for Freedom. So many other good ones. What else is on this album? It's been a while since I spent it. High Hopes, Keep Talking, Coming Back to Life. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Lost for Words. Yeah, I really like this whole album. It's great. It's a great listen all the way through. Great songwriting, great playing. It's got more of a chill vibe to it, and that's totally okay by me. It's a really good record. Division Bell, 1994, Pink Floyd. Also, recently I was listening to the Pulse live concert, which I don't have any other live albums in this pile, but damn, that one's so freaking good. It could have made this easily. In fact, if I was going to make if I was going to make a video for the best live albums of all time, that would absolutely be in my pile. Okay, we're going to 1990 with this one, and this is one of the heaviest bands of the 90s. They're called Pantera. Cowboys from Hell. Now, I could have chose Vulgar Display of Power or this one, or really any of the 90s Pantera records, but this is the one that started it all. This takes it right back to 1990. They were holding no punches when it's like Megadeth. They were taking no prisoners, for lack of a better pun, or for a better term. They were taking no prisoners when they entered the new decade with this, and every song is just a hard hitter. Cowboys from Hell, Primal Concrete Sledge, Psycho Holiday, Cemetery Gates, Shattered, and freaking Domination. Oh my god, what a freaking crazy album this is. This is the colored edition that came out last year. I do have the regular 2LP black vinyl Rhino edition, but I felt like showing the colored one, so sue me. I love metal. I love music. You know, I would have no life without music. Music is it for me. Music is where it starts and where it stops. Just music in every form. We're going back to grunge. Pearl Jam's 10. I actually just recently got this album. I'm recently getting into Pearl Jam, but everybody knows this album. Even Flow, Alive, Jeremy, and other tracks, Once. Why Go, Oceans, Porch, Black, of course, was also a big hit for the band, but this is a great record. Some people are sort of hit and miss with the band. Other people, like some people love this band, some people are not so big on them. Some people are like, I can't get behind Vedder's vocals or whatever. You know, Vedder is an amazing songwriter, okay? Like, if you listen to the lyrics and stuff that guy wrote and the stories he tells in these songs, he's an incredibly creative guy, and just just the songs he writes are absolutely wonderful tunes. Just great storytelling, and the band is absolutely no slouches either. This is a great record. This is Pearl Jam's 10 from 1991. This came out just a couple of months before the Nirvana record, and they both went diamond. Of course, they were two of the biggest bands of the time. Great record, and I'm going to be looking into getting Vitalogy and Verses as well, because those are also really good too. Primus. You want to talk some wonky 90s stuff. This is another one from, I believe this is 1991. It doesn't have the date on the back of it, but it was 90 or 91. Anyway, this album is this is probably the best Primus album, or at least my favorite, although they got other great ones too, like Frizzle Fry and Pork Soda and Anti-Pop, but this one is the one that got me in the door. This is the one that opened up the door and pushed me through. Tommy the Cat. Tommy the Cat. Jerry was a race car driver. Here Come the Bastards. Sergeant Baker. Fish On. This album has got some of the best bass playing. I mean, obviously all Primus records do, but such a creative, imaginative band and such talented guys. You know, there's a lot that can be learned from a band like this. A band that just is not afraid to defy social norms. Not afraid to go to weird places with their music, and hopefully with the music that I write, it accomplishes some of that too. That's big inspiration. I love this band. Big influence on me for sure. Absolutely great band. Sailing the Seas of Cheese, Primus. Now this is another one of my favorite albums. This is not what the actual cover looks like, so I'll pull it out of this box. This, as many of you know, I'm a massive Beatles fan. And this album came out the year before I was born, actually, because I am somewhat of a 90s child. I was born in 98, and this one came out in 97. It's one of my favorite albums by this man, and one of my favorite records of all time is Paul McCartney's Flaming Pie. Every song is just killer, you know. What can I say? The song we were singing, The World Tonight, If You Wanna, Some Days, Young Boy, Calico Skies, Flaming Pie, Heaven on a Sunday, Used to Be Bad, Souvenir, Little Willow, Really Love You, Beautiful Night, and Great Day. Beautiful Night is one of the most wonderful, most gorgeous songs ever written. I don't care. I know this is very different than some of the other stuff I've listed here, but this is how my music taste is. I'm all over the place, and I just love this record. It's a masterpiece. Masterpiece. Paul McCartney, Flaming Pie. And this is the anniversary, not anniversary, but he re-released this in the archive series, and this is with the extra bonus LP and the poster and the booklet and all that stuff in there. On to another pile. So we open up this pile with another one of my favorite bands. This is Queen. This is the last album they did before Freddie died. As many of you know, they did an album called Made in Heaven, which he recorded all the vocal parts and then passed away, and then the band finished it and put it out. But this one was completed when he was still alive. It's the last one to come out in his lifetime. Now, this album's really good. Innuendo, which actually has a guitar solo from Steve Howe, from Yes, who is also going to be mentioned shortly. Innuendo, I'm Going Slightly Mad, These Are the Days of Our Lives, Don't Try So Hard, The Hitman, The Show Must Go On. This record is so good, and this is not that single LP edition that came out with all the single edits on it. I never picked that up. I would much rather have the full tracks. So this is the double LP version, the longer one. I'm a big Queen fan, like Genesis and Queen are two of my main favorite bands, but I've got many. The Queen, Innuendo, this came out in 1991. Just a little bit before Freddie passed, unfortunately, but R.I.P. Freddie Mercury. Love this album. Love Queen. Love Queen. And also love Rush. Roll the Bones. This is a really good record. It's kind of overlooked in the Rush catalog. Of course, there's the Rush diehards like myself who kind of go through everything and go, oh, it's all great, because truthfully it is, but some people have opinions, and that's okay, you know, that's all right. But I like this album a lot. Dreamline, Roll the Bones, Where's My Thing, Part 4, and it's got one of the best Rush tunes on it. Some of the best lyrics in a song called Heresy. It's just a great record, Roll the Bones. This came out in 1991 as well. 1991? That year was on fire. Good shit. Okay. Rage Against the Machine. This is where you get rock, borderline heavy metal, and hip-hop rap together. They weren't the first band to do this, but they're one of the best bands to do it. Then this is possibly their greatest achievement as a band, although they did other great records as well. But this is probably my favorite Rage record. Bomb Track, Killing in the Name, Take the Power Back, Bullet in the Head, Know Your Enemy, which also has a cameo from Maynard James Keenan from Tool. Again, another band you're going to see up soon. And yeah, this whole record, top to bottom, is just so good. This Tom Morello is, you know, this record, if you think about great guitarists, you have to mention Tom Morello. Like, he kind of changed. Like, guitar didn't sound like this. Like, that guy doesn't play regular guitar solos. Like, he doesn't, like, guitar does not sound, or did not sound the way that Tom Morello made it sound before this record came out. I'm not kidding you. And just the grooves and just the songs and the playing, I just love it. It's a great record. Rage Against the Machine, self-titled record. Here we go. Slayer. Seasons in the Abyss, 1990. This is on Rick Rubin's record label. It's also produced by Rick Rubin. This is one of my favorite Slayer records. Like, a lot of people sort of say that Rain and Blood is the best record, but as great as that one is, this one really shows, you know, this is when they started to slow it down. It was sort of less thrashy in spots, and yeah, like this is a really good record, and this might be my top Slayer record. But anyway, Dead Skin Mask, Seasons in the Abyss, War Ensemble, a great record, awesome. Good stuff. This is another one on Rick Rubin's record label and produced by Rick Rubin as well. This is System of a Down's first record. This came out in 1998. Now, Rick Rubin is very much like us, like me. If you ever watched an interview or listened to him talk, he just loves music. Music is his entire life. It starts at music and ends at music. Like, it's all about the music. Nothing, no additives, no other bullshit. It's just been music all the way, and he loves everything from the Beatles to System of a Down. But enough about the producer. This record it's a really strange one, but it's a good one. It's not the best System record, but it's a really good one, and it's the best they released in this decade. It's also the only one, but this is a really good one. And you can't get the toxicity and hypnotize and mesmerize without this. This is a really raw record. War, Sweet Pea, Sugar, Spiders. Yeah, this record's a really good one. It's a really, really unique metal record. Again, metal never really sounded like this until this record came out. It's heavy, it's wonky, it's System of a Down. It's their first record, self-titled. Good stuff. I love System. And so we've reached the fourth installment. Of course, it's not in any order, but the fourth installment of the grunge era, and we are here with Soundgarden. Now, I love Chris Cornell, and I love Soundgarden, and you might kill me for not actually owning Super Unknown on vinyl. I have it on CD, but I haven't got it on vinyl yet. It's hard to find right now, but Bad Motorfinger definitely does it for me, too. I mean, Rusty Cage and Outshined, man. I love driving along and just trying to nail the vocals for Outshined. Notice I say tried. Jesus Christ Pose. This whole record is just, Searching with My Good Eye Closed, Slaves and Bulldozers. Oh, this was also produced by Terry Date, who had produced Pantera at the time as well. This is from 1991. If I get any of the dates wrong for some of these, please feel free to correct me in the comments. But 1991, fucking great record. Bad Motorfinger, Soundgarden. Just awesome. One of their heaviest records, too. Here's another 1990 release with the Scorpions. This is the Crazy World record, and I recently got into the Scorpions, and I love this album. I got their 80s stuff, too, but this album's really good. Tease Me, Please Me, Wind of Change, Send Me an Angel. The whole record I like the whole thing. It's a good one. Scorpions, Crazy World. Going back to some hip hop here. Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. This is from 1993. Now, this is when he kind of got picked up and noticed by his friend Dr. Dre. And unfortunately, this was executive produced by Suge Knight. We won't get into him, but produced sonically by Dr. Dre. And this has got a lot of, when you think of Snoop Dogg, you probably think of most of the songs on this. Maybe Drop It Like It's Hot, but that wasn't for another so many years after this. Gin and Juice, The Shiznit, Lottie Dottie, Murder Was the Case, Who Am I, What's My Name, Ain't No Fun If the Homies Can't Have None. Oh man, I used to have a subwoofer in my old van. I blast this. Oh, Ain't No Fun If the Homies Can't Have None. I drive through town blasting that. It's a really rude song, but it's really funny, and I love this era of hip hop so much. It is just so good. Feels good, most of it does anyway. Snoop Doggy Dogg, Doggy Style, 1993. Okay, one of my favorite bands of all time. As a drummer, they have to be just one of the best bands of the last 30 years for sure. It's absolutely Tool, Undertow. What can I say? Danny Carey is one of the drum gods. Prison Sex, Sober, Intolerance, Bottom, Crawl Away, Swamp Song. I've listened to this record so many times. This album is very good. Not my favorite Tool album, but it's a really, really good one. Yeah, I love Tool. Love Danny Carey's drumming. He's just a massive, massive influence on me. And seeing Tool in concert really changed my life, in a sense. All I do is music, and so when I saw him play live, I'm like, I can either just stop drumming, or I can learn his stuff, and I can add his style into the way I play, and so that's what I've attempted to do since then. Tool, one of my favorite bands. Undertow, great record. Okay, we're nearing the end of the pile here, but we have A Tribe Called Quest, The Low End Theory. This is very lo-fi, sort of jazzy hip-hop. This is a classic record, though. I really like it. This has got Buggin' Out, Rap Promoter, Butter, The Infamous Date Rape, Check the Rhyme, Jazz We've Got, and actually one of these songs is actually the first time that the world had heard a guy named Busta Rhymes. I think it's a track called Scenario. But this is not really one of those albums where you need the names of the songs. It's like you just put it on and you just vibe your way through the entire record. So that's what it is. This is just one of those records. This is mood music. This is mood music in the jugular vein. A Tribe Called Quest, The Low End Theory. If you like hip hop and if you like how hip hop sounds on vinyl, you definitely got to have this. It's just too good to not own. It's too good to ignore. Another great hip hop record is this one, All Eyes on Me, Tupac. So many great tunes on this. Two of America's Most Wanted, Ambitions as a Rider, How Do You Want It, this, All About You, Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. Good stuff. Good record. Good record. One of the most important hip-hop records. Came out in like 96, maybe? Yeah, 96 is right. This is the 2002 reissue. Pretty cool. It's a little beat up. I did buy this used years and years ago, like before I owned my own store. But yeah, good record. Good record. Okay, we have two left. And this one is this one is actually a really hard record to come by. But it's Van Halen. This is For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, otherwise stylized as Fuck. For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. This is a really great Van Halen record. This is the third one with Sammy Hagar. I have Balance too. That could have been in here as well. But this is just one of my. It's a great record. You know, opens with Pound Cake. You're driving along on a sunny day and Pound Cake comes on and you're just having it, man. I don't care who you are. Even if you're one of those guys that goes, oh, I don't like Hagar, I only like Roth. Pound Cake, man. Pound Cake is Pound Cake. Judgment Day, Spanked, Run Around. Oh, another one of my faves. In and Out. Right Now, Top of the World. This record is just so good. Right Now, you know, one of the biggest hits. You know, won them some Grammys. This was a #1 album. But regardless of all the media, you know, regardless of all the popularity that this band has always had, they've always been one for quality, and this record does not shy away from that. This is a quality rock and roll record. Van Halen, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Carnal Knowledge. This is from 1991. And last but not least, this is one of the albums that you can say it probably got me into music, because when I was born, my parents were playing this one a lot. This is Yes, The Ladder. I love Yes, and you're hard pressed to find a Yes record that I don't really like. There's some that are not as great as others, and some that are just like way better than others, but they don't really make bad music. Like, I wasn't that big on the Heaven and Earth record from a couple years ago. I really like their newest one, The Quest. It's really good. R.I.P. Alan White, but this stands up with one of the best Yes records for sure. It's not Close to the Edge, but it is The Ladder, and The Ladder is great. So Homeworld, It'll Be a Good Day, Lightning Strikes, If Only You Knew, New Language, 9 Voices. Also produced by a Canadian guy named Bruce Fairbairn, who had actually unfortunately passed away halfway through, actually about near the end of recording this record, so R.I.P. Bruce Fairbairn. But yes, The Ladder from 1999. I was 1 year old when this came out. And I love it. I love Yes, and I love Chris Squire, Alan White. Everybody who played on this record is a great musician. So, all right. So next up, we'll have you with the 2000s. This is just me talking about my 90s records. And if there's any that you feel that I should have or that I've missed, comment in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video where we talk about all the great records that I own from 2000 to 2022. Thanks a lot, guys. Rock on!